you've mentioned the mental blocks from your own injuries. I'm curious if you could share maybe when you've been injured in the past or you've had kind of that transformative physical moment for yourself, what did you do that helped you get past that mental block or get past that disparity of, oh my gosh, I can't compete in X event, or oh my gosh, I can't do these things or whatever. How did you move past it?
Yeah. So the biggest one for me, and this has happened in several different things, but kind of my signature story around this was, I guess it was 2022, was 3 days out from a fitness competition. And I herniated a disc in my low back, deadlifting. And it was really bad. I thankfully have a lot of the tools and the knowledge to be like, okay, here's what I need to do right now. And my very first thought was, okay, rehab, like you just did this, like accept it. Your rehab starts right now. At this very moment, starts right now. So I like immediately got to work. I was in the middle of a workout and I just like left and I just started getting to work on my back as soon as possible, right? Doing everything that I knew I needed to start like laying down those early foundations now to eventually move forward past them. And that's like one little like added tip is that the earlier you can get intervention, typically the faster you can recover. But I was 3 days out from this competition and I still showed up trying to say like, okay, can I still do this? Can I still compete? And it was absolutely a no-go.
Yeah.
I was like warming up, like I was trying to get warmed up for it. And I was like, this is not happening. Right. So I had to drop out, and I had a lot of friends there who came to support me and stuff. And so it was like a big bummer, right? Like it was like a big letdown for them. And that was like one of the elements. The other thing was that I really had to have this mindset of, like I said, trying to get, once I accepted that I wasn't competing that anymore, I had to shift my focus onto the new goal. And the new goal was the back, right? So it became like nothing else really mattered other than getting this taken care of. And in the process of that, I still wanted to maintain, strength and fitness in other areas. So I quickly tried to find things and avenues that I could do I could still work myself, but make sure that it didn't, irritate the back in any way, right? And in the background, I was working on rebuilding myself. The big thing of it, though, is that I knew just through stats and through treating people how long this was probably going to take, but I didn't quite really wrap my mind around like what it was going to feel like for something to take that long. Because the reality is like when you go through one of those injuries that was as bad as that, like recovery times can be, they can be 6 months to 2 years long. It can be a really long time.
May even need surgery. Yeah.
Right. And it can be a really long time until you are fully back. Right. And it took me a little over 18 months until I was back. I had, gradually gotten back into deadlifting again. And then I finally hit my old numbers once again. Right. And there was this number on the bar that I was terrified of because I just knew that like that was the level that I was at before my injury. And I knew that getting back to that would mean that I would be kind of pushing that limit of where I hurt myself again. And I will put a stake in the ground of saying that moment, the time that I finally did that thing that I was so scared of doing, and I did it well, was the turning point for my brain mentally. Because every other time leading up to that, every time I would go up to the bar, I would be so scared until I hit that number again. And what we call this in the rehab world is we call this the expectation violation. So it is the moment in time where you have this expectation of I'm going to do this thing and this thing is going to hurt because every other time I have done this thing, it has hurt. And then you go and you do that for the first time and it doesn't hurt. And there's something that's so magic and so powerful about that moment of you just like, that it's going to be okay. Right? It's going to be fine. And that is really where I center a lot of the approach to rehab is like we talked about finding somebody's why. Yeah. And a lot of times that expectation violation moment is closely tied to that why as well. And so having them have that moment of they had an expectation, that expectation was violated, but in a good way. Right. And now they are on this new trajectory forward. And so, that's like a lot of my approach to that and what I learned through my own experience to be true. And I kind of knew that up here that that was true, but I had not ever experienced it here. And once I did, I realized like, oh, this is so powerful to be able to have that moment. And so a lot of what we do is gearing people in the direction of that moment and making sure that they can find it.